In this session, we are going to see about Node versus browser. Uh, you would have heard about many differences, comparison between Node, JavaScript, Node, Angular. But I think JavaScript engine, if you take which executes your JavaScript, is something which is inside the Node environment. Okay. So it will not be apt to compare Node and JavaScript and Node and Angular. Angular is also a JavaScript framework. Okay. So comparing a node with a component which is within the node environment will not be correct. That's what I feel. So in this session we will be seeing differences between node and browser. Okay. So these are the difference which I have collected for node versus browser. So let's first understand what is Node and what is a web browser. Node, as you know, it is a Java runtime environment. It is nothing but the V8 engine moved to the server side and with put inside a C++ program. So this environment is called as Node. So Node is nothing but the V8 engine plus certain C++ libraries. These two are called as Node. Browser, yeah, the web browser, you know very well that it is used for browsing, okay, many sites. So it has a rendering engine with the JavaScript engine and a parser which passes the HTML into DOM and all those. So here also the JavaScript engine is part of the browser. So let us also understand the architecture of both. So this is the what you see in the left hand side is the architecture for Node. So Node, if you take the JS modules, the what you wrote with all the libraries, V8 is nothing but the JavaScript engine which is within Node, okay, and other C++ libraries. For JS and other libraries to connect with each other, the C++, we have bindings and also we have some C++ add-ons as well. Okay, as I told, Node is nothing but the JavaScript engine plus the C++ libraries. Okay, so this is called as Node. But if you take in case of browser, okay, it consists of the browser engine, rendering engine, and the rendering engine makes use of the JS engine and UI backend and networking. Okay, and also it has a persistent layer for storing the data in the browser. So here also you have to understand the JS engine is part of the browser, though it has the rendering engine parser for passing your HTML and rendering it on the screen, and the user interface is nothing but the browser UC with the address bar and the content pane where the content gets displayed, all those. So here also you have to understand in both cases JS engine is part of that in case of Node as well as in case of browser. Okay, hope you understood this. Okay, the next thing, the Node is used as a backend, right? Sorry, made a mistake here. It is used as a backend and the browser is used as a front end, right? So it is used for front end, what you see, okay, maybe you go to google.com, it fetches from the server, Google server, and you see it on the screen. And Node is for the backend, maybe it give the responses to the request from any front end application, okay. And the JS engine in case of Node, it is always V8 engine. As I told, the Chrome's JavaScript engine, which is called as V8 engine, was brought to the backend. Okay. So this is called V8 engine. But in case of browser, what is the JavaScript engine present in case of browser? The JavaScript engine is different for different browsers. Okay, because they have their own team which is developing the engine. Okay, in case of Chrome it is V8 engine, they have named it V8 engine, but in case of Firefox it is SpiderMonkey, in case of Edge it is Blink. So they have their own JavaScript engine. So in case of browser, we can't be sure what is the JavaScript engine, because it is different for each browsers. Okay, you understand? And now let's move to the global object in case of node and browser. What is the global object in case of node and browser? This is the once you download the node, okay, you download the node from maybe for Windows or Mac OS, whatever you are using, and once you put node, this is the environment. This is the node environment. Here also you can execute all your uh, interactively you can execute. In similarly in Chrome, I have taken a Chrome thing. So here also you can see the JavaScript console here. Okay, it is a JavaScript console here. Once you put inspect, you will be able to see the JavaScript. Here also you can execute. So the global object in case of node is global. Okay, so this is the global. If you add anything globally, it will get added to this global object. But in case of browser, it is Windows. Window. Okay, so you can see all the web APIs gets added here. So you need not do window.a. You can just simply put that, and you will be able to execute the. So whatever you see it in window are all global objects. So like set timeout, you might have used clear timeout. So all are global objects. So no need to put window dot. It is globally available inside any function. Likewise, in case of node, it is inside global. So what all is present in global object, you need not specify it. It is globally available to any function, any nested level of function you write. Okay. So these are okay. This is the global object. If you add something here like a equal to 10 globally, you will see it in window.a. You can also execute. It will get added to window, the global object. Likewise here, if you write, maybe I will put CLS, it does not work. Okay. So if you put a equal to 10 here, you can take it from global.a, right? Because it will get added global to the global object. All the global variables you add gets added to this global object. Okay. Now let's move on. So this is about the global object. What is a synchronous activity? You do any synchronous, like you execute a for loop, console log, what will happen? So you have to understand both node and browser has the JavaScript engine which will execute the JavaScript code. For the JavaScript code, it is always single threaded. You understand? For JavaScript engine, it is always single threaded. So the synchronous activity, synchronous code in case of node also runs in a single thread. Also in case of browser, whatever be the JavaScript engine, it will execute in the single thread only. All the JavaScript, all your synchronous code runs as a single thread because JavaScript is single threaded. You understand? But if you take asynchronous, what is asynchronous? Asynchronous means any code which you don't know when it will return, like call to the server. Maybe in node you call to another server. So all this asynchronous code, how many threads? Does it run in the same single thread of JavaScript? No, it does not run in the same single thread of JavaScript. The asynchronous activity in case of node, okay, it will be handled by libuv library, which we already saw in the architecture, right? Libuv library. It is handled by the libuv library. Another thing you understand, the asynchronous like fetch call, set timeout call will not get executed by the single thread of JavaScript. It goes through a event loop. Okay. If once I will just explain you with a diagram. Once it understands it is a asynchronous activity, asynchronous event. Okay. It will through bindings it will give it to the libuv. The libuv it will have a worker thread. libuv normally has a 4 thread by default. 4 thread by default, which you can configure also. Once a asynchronous event comes from a Node.js system, it will be handled by the worker thread which is available in the libuv environment. Maybe it has a 4 environment. So after maybe 4 calls you have already used it, maybe fifth call will happen sequentially. Once the fourth one of the threads becomes free, that will be taken up. So the work will be assigned to any asynchronous task will be assigned to the libuv library, which will assign to the worker thread which it has. Okay, and the worker thread will do the work and give it to the event queue, and at last it will go to the JavaScript engine. The event through event loop one by one. Once the event queue is free, it will give it to the event queue. Okay, and from the event queue it will be executed by the JavaScript stack, the stack which is present in V8 engine. Understand? If any set timeout goes, you understand that it will be given by the to the libuv environment, which it will execute to the worker thread, and once it is completed, it will go to the event queue, and from the event queue it will go to the JavaScript engine when the JavaScript stack is empty. So it will be taken to the JavaScript engine. Okay, this is how it happens in Node.js. But in case of any asynchronous activity, in case of browser, what will happen? Any asynchronous activity like set timeout or fetch call, it is all handled by the web APIs. What is web API? Web APIs or APIs which are provided by the browser. Okay, and any browser if you take, they provide a set of APIs. So that APIs we will call. Maybe set timeout is also a web API. Okay, we call that API, and the browser, this functionality is written by the browser. So it will do the functionality and give it to the queue, and from the queue it will be taken to the stack. You understand? So the web API, if you want to refer, maybe you can go here. If you search for web APIs, you will see the web APIs for the Firefox. So these are the set of web APIs which are provided for Firefox. I will be also adding this link to the description. So see, you can see it here. For fetch API, there is a fetch API. For calling the fetch, it has a web API has been written by the browser. Likewise, for set timeout also, it is written a timing event. If you see it, that is a timing thing. Okay, that is a part of timing thing, which will be part of window. So it will be part of this global scope, worker global scope. So here you can find set timeout. So these are the functionalities which are being written by the browser, and it is available when you write it in the, and these has to be called from the JavaScript in the browser. Okay, once you call this, the web APIs will handle the asynchronous event. Once they are done, they will provide it to the event queue, as you see in this diagram. So as you see in this diagram, okay, whenever the JavaScript runtime faces any asynchronous operation like fetch or set timeout, it will be given, because set timeout or fetch is a web API. Okay, the API provided by the browser, so it will be given to the web API. So the web API will execute the asynchronous operation in its own thread. Okay, it will have its own thread pool. Maybe if you take in case of Chrome, the Chrome has a IO thread for doing IO operations, and also it has some general purpose threads. So using this thread, that operation will be done. You have to understand, for doing the web API, it will not use the JavaScript thread, which the JavaScript which has a single thread. It will not use that. It will have its own thread available by the browser. It would have allocated some threads for doing IO operation or general purpose operation. Using those threads, it will do the operation, and once it has done the operation, it will be given to the queue. You have to understand, it will not go directly to the stack. It will go to the queue, the callback queue, which is available in the JavaScript runtime. It will go to the queue, and by means of event loop, it will be taken by the stack only when the stack is empty. So if you want to understand about event loop better, you can see my video on that. So I will add it as a card. Okay, maybe you can see that. So by means of event loop, just repeating, it will be moved to the stack. So the stack is the place where all the JavaScript code what we write comes there and get executed. Okay. As you know, stack is last in, first out. So by means of that, it will get executed. Okay. So this is about how the asynchronous operation happens in case of browser. That's what we saw here. Now we also understood in libuv how it happens. Now coming to our next difference, the asynchronous activity thread. As I told you, the thread pools in case of libuv, we have by default 4 threads. Worker threads are available for libuv, by which it will do all the asynchronous operation. Okay, once so this threads, if you need more threads, this can also be configured by you. Okay, configured by you. Okay, but in case of browser, if you take, okay, this cannot be configured. In Chrome, the thread, how many threads it has for asynchronous operation, it is different for different browsers. In case of Chrome, as I told you, we have a IO thread and some general purpose thread through which the asynchronous operation will take place. But this is different for different browsers. How many threads it has, the browser, the web APIs have configured for doing asynchronous operation, it is different for different browsers. Okay, but in case of Chrome, it is normally the IO thread which has. So the next difference is module system. You know what is a module system, right? Why we need a module system? We need a module system because to require one functionality which is available in another file to one file. So in Node natively, CommonJS module system was supported. So by which we were using module.exports and require to require the functionality from one file to another. Okay. Now with ES6, even Node started supporting ES6 module system. Even from Node 14, even ES6 module system is supported. In case of browser, before ES6, the module system was not supported natively in JavaScript. We had to use require.js and system.js to make it available in use the import the functionalities from one file to another. But with the advent of ES6, we got ES6 module system supported. So by which we were able to import using import and whatever functionality we wanted to be available in another file, we were exporting. So we were using import and export. So you have to understand module system. Before in ES6 it was not available. Only from ES6 we have ES6 module system natively supported in the browser. Okay. So if you go to the ES5 browser, this module system will not be known to the browser. That is, import export will be undefined. And in case of coming to the next difference, event loop, as we saw in this diagram, the libuv through which the event loop is supported in Node. Okay, it takes care of worker threads doing the asynchronous operation, and once the work is completed, by means of event loop, it puts into the event queue, and from event queue it gets pushed into the V8 JavaScript engine. Okay, so if you want to understand more about event loop, I will add it as a card. You can refer to my event loop video. Okay, in case of browser, the asynchronous operation is done by the web API, and it pushes, once it is done, it pushes the callback to the callback queue, which is the part of JavaScript runtime, and it will the event loop will take care of pushing the callback to the stack whenever the stack is empty. So you can understand, in case of browser, for event loop, the web API and the JavaScript runtime is involved in event loop, but in case of Node, the libuv is involved. Okay, that's what I have put here, web API and JavaScript runtime. Okay, so these are the differences I have compiled for Node and browser. Okay, if you kindly put your comments in the comment section, and if you like the video, kindly subscribe and press the bell icon. Thank you. Have a nice day.